What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. A little bit of a, I can't say last minute, but it is definitely an unexpected live stream, I would say at least. If you're on your way in here, make sure you hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. I'm just adjusting my lighting here, so I appreciate you guys just sticking in for that. I've adjusted my studio a little bit so you don't get to see the outskirts as much. But give me 1 second. I'll get to headline what this. Well, I can't say it's a show, but this live stream will be talking about the Giants' schedule. There's obviously a lot of, off-season stuff we can get into and all these other different things. Actually, there's not really a lot. I kind of lied to you there. But it's great to be back with y'all. Obviously, the last time I was live was last Sunday. It wasn't this Sunday. It was this fall. It was a Sunday before that, as we talked about the Giants draft class. What's up to Jacob in the chat and Mr. Armand? Thank you. Look, a college grad. Congrats. Appreciate it, Armand, and I appreciate everyone who's commented on the social media posts and all these other different things that I have put out. Because you guys are great. Obviously, I've busted my ass, and I really don't brag about it, but I busted my ass with this channel throughout my college years to not just put it on my resume, but also stick out there from other content creators. And I appreciate you guys along the way. And obviously, I got to showcase a little bit of what I did this past week at the Georgia Association of Broadcasters Radio Institute. As you guys saw, I met Maria Taylor of NBC. But anyway, I'll allow questions and chatty stuff and all that other different stuff in the chat. I was thinking about going live Saturday night, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just get this out on Thursday. So, by no stretch of imagination was the Giants' schedule going to be easy. I think everybody knows that. They were the hardest schedule percentage-wise, and I think the Eagles or the 49ers were the easiest. Which makes a lot of sense. The Giants were one of the worst teams in the league. And let's see, happy Thursday. What's up to Daniel Berry Sports? But let me get myself a backdrop here, and we're going to get right into the schedule predictions and stuff like that. We're going to use Playoff Predictor. Now, I will say this. We are going to, at some point down the road, do a schedule predictions show with Vinny, with Luca, with Sean, with Brian. Somehow we'll figure that out during the months of May, the rest of May and June. I don't know that it would carry into July, but obviously there's a lot of things going on right now. So not in terms of football, but in terms of the behind-the-scenes looks. So we'll get you guys out, and I fully expect to have another Giants roster bubble series video. Set of videos, I should say, throughout the summer, as I have done the last few years. And I know you guys have enjoyed them and all that sort of goody stuff. So back to the Giants schedule. The Giants schedule isn't easy by any stretch of imagination. And you could say that coming into whenever they leak the schedule. Oh, the Giants schedule is hard, and we all know that. But like the certain circumstances which the Giants have been put under is not great by any stretch of imagination. And, for instance, week 3 is your homecoming against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Nobody could have predicted that. Nobody at all. Right? So, just putting it out there. The first 4 weeks are super tough. Super tough. You have 2 primetime games. So it's just going to be really tough, man. But we're going to go through it week by week by week. You let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share out. Let's see if I could do this, because I know live comments will... Because StreamYard has this thing now where you can put the live comments on screen. Well, not this, but like it usually shows up on the right-hand side of the screen. So I guess if somebody's going to comment new, whoever that may be in the chat, I think it's going to show up on the right side of the screen, kind of like Twitch. But yeah, so anyway, This is the full schedule. If I had a game to pick to go to, pending a lot of things happening in my back life right now, um, me and Sox Arizona are looking at Las Vegas in December. It's going to be an interesting one. It was either that or Detroit. Detroit is about $300 to get into. That's not worth it in my end because listen, I know the Detroit Lions are a very good team. They're a top of the NFC. However, if I'm going to watch my team get their asses beat, that's not a game I really want to go to and spend $300 on. So that's just the way I feel. And let me know in the comments section: are the Giants going to get 0 to 4 wins, 5 to 7, 8 to 9, or 10 plus? I would really like to know who put 10 plus and why. But obviously, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So, and also, I apologize. I'm a bit under the weather, as you could probably tell by my voice and my congestion. But anyway, we're going to run with this because that's what we do. So there you go. The comment section just displays on the screen. Okay, let's get into this. Week 1 against the Washington Commanders. Now, this could go one of two ways. I don't think the Giants are getting blown out in week 1. I don't. I just don't see it happening. So this could be one of two things. Number one is that the Giants lose a very close game to Washington. I don't see the Giants and Russell Wilson coming into this game underprepared to the point where they're going to get blown out by Washington. The Giants, I think what we have to do as Giant fans and people who kind of just watch this team as well, as media conglomerates or media pundits rather, is Daniel Jones is no longer on this team. The Giants have upgraded well within the trenches. They've upgraded well within their team. Are they at the Eagles level yet? No. But you also have to encounter, last year these guys were pretty good, and we were 0-6 in the division, which is not something you would ever want to do. So it could either be a Giants loss by close, or I'm going to give you a hot take. The Giants upset by at least 2 scores. And I'm not saying that's my take. I'm saying that because Washington could be a team that comes in riding high, kind of like the Giants did, if you will, in that 2023 season, riding high. One thing goes wrong, the next thing goes wrong, and all of a sudden you're down 40-0. Now, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to blow out the New York Giants, the Washington football team by 40. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think the Giants, realistically, if you're looking at the schedule, you have to take one of these first 2 games. And you're dealing with a Washington team that's at home, and the fans are there. They're pumped. Ownership is still new. This team is very good. Coming off of a year they did not expect to make the NFC Championship. Or you have the next week, and we're going to analyze these two together, where you have Dallas, right? They just traded for George Pickens. The Giants haven't won in Dallas in a very long time. I believe 2016 was the last year they won in Dallas. And last time they beat Dallas was 2020. So they have to overcome one of those humps eventually. And they also have to overcome both of those humps, in week 2. And they do play Dallas at the end of the season in week 18. So realistically, you're thinking, and if the Giants start off 0-4, it's not a good look for Brian Daboll. I'm going to say that right now. I don't really want to enlarge myself this much, but it's not a good look for Brian Daboll. I'm going to shut down all the banners because I don't want it to crowd the screen. So while this season, and I'll say this, right? This season should not be predicated on wins and losses. It should be predicated on okay, this team is making progress. The young guys are doing good. It's kind of like we're back to square one, though you do expect to win games with Russell Wilson. You expect him to put you over a level that Daniel Jones never had you at. Those primetime scares should kind of go away. Not that they should be totally gone, but they should just go away a little bit. So there is that. Which one? Now, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If they win week 1 or 2 at all, which one is it going to be? Are they going to win both? Are they going to win none? This one's tough. This one is real tough. I'm going to sit here and say The Giants are going to take one of these games. Which one I keep? Because like Washington's coming in like red hot. Well, not red hot because like nobody's hot coming into the season. And Dallas has their home opener. Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to take the Giants. Man, this is tough. I need some help from the comment section. Okay. Because I'm like, maybe the Giants, maybe I should put them as the winners in week 1. But I know they're not going to have a good season. So maybe I should have them lose week 1 and win against Dallas. That would not be great either. Right? So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have them win against Dallas and then lose against Washington to start. The Chiefs, I think they'll play down a little bit on Sunday Night Football. Right? This is a team who lost the Super Bowl, could be on that hangover. We've seen it before where they have those rough starts. Especially in 2023, where the Chiefs lost to the Lions. They kind of gave them a lot of ammo. They also have a new tackle in Joshua Simmons. So they do have returning pieces and whatnot. The wide receiver core could get better. I mean, Xavier Worthy is a monster. Travis Kelce is still there, but he's on the back end. And, Steve Spagnuolo is going to coach that defense up. But I'm going to say that they lose this game. I don't think that the Giants will be in that there. The Chargers could go either way, but I'm going to have the Giants losing. They're going to start at 1-3. I just think that Jim Harbaugh is a much better coach. Now, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to look at who they added and who they lost in the Los Angeles Chargers. So they drafted Omarion Hampton, which is a great pick at 22. They drafted Trey Harris, the Ole Miss wide receiver, formerly teammates of Jackson Dart. They drafted a good run stuffer in Jamari Caldwell and a good defensive lineman in Colin Kennard. Now, if you're looking at who they got, let's see if they get any free agents, any key free agents. I'm looking at the chart here. They traded J.C. Jackson. Okay, so they traded Dustin Hopkins. Okay. So they do have Taylor Heineke as a backup, but nonetheless, Justin Herbert. I feel like this is a game that the Giants could sneakily win. This could be one of those games where we look back, it's like, wow, Russell Wilson won us that game. So I'm going to look at their hour-led depth chart because it just shows their new additions a lot better. So they re-added Mike Williams. They added Tyler Conklin from the Jets. Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris head up the backfield. No Gus Edwards. They have Raheem Sanders, the former South Carolina running back, as an undrafted free agent. They have Mekhi Becton at right guard, who is a free agent signing, Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles. And their offensive line pretty much remains similar. Joe Alt is the right tackle. You move to and also Quentin Johnson's still a part of that receiving core, but you got Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey, and Mike Williams. So you got a couple of speedsters there. On the defensive side of the ball, Dante Jackson as your starting corner, your starting safety being Derwin James. Khalil Mack is still around. They did release Joey Bosa, though, so Tui Tuipulotu will have to take another step. Coming into his third year, Tear Tart in the middle of the defensive line, along with Deshaun Hand. So if the Giants do have a Skatibo and Tracy running attack, might be good to use it. I feel like this game is not going to be very much pass happy. I think it's going to be down on the ground because you got Omarion Hampton on one side and the other being Skatibo and Tyrone Tracy. Now, if you look at defensively how they ranked last year in terms of The run defense, at least the Chargers, they were in the top 15-ish. So they were in the top 15. Okay. So I have the Giant. I might go back to this game. I'm not going to lie to you. I might go back to this game, but I think the Chargers are going to win. I do think the Giants take the game against New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shaw is the quarterback, and this is a first-year head coach in Kellen Moore. Looking at their schedule leading up to this point, obviously Derek Carr chose retirement, but their schedule up to this point would be facing the Cardinals, then the Niners, then the Seahawks, and the Bills. So the only win I'd probably see in that is week 1 against the Cardinals at home. But I feel like this is a game that the Giants might make closer than they want. But Tyler Shaw, I mean, I know a lot of people were impressed with him in the pre-draft process. What's up to Nimmer? Yeah, I'm not happy about those Knicks, Nimmer. Not happy at all. But they do have a couple new pieces. They have Devin Neal in the backfield, which is pretty good. Their wide receiver core is not really much to talk about. There's obviously some doubts about Chris Olave. Not him as a receiver, it's just whether he's going to be there long term. You have Brandon Cooks coming back from the Dallas Cowboys and a multitude of other teams. Rashid Shaheed is good in a pinch, but I think this is an offensive line the Giants could potentially take advantage of. I mean, Fuaga was good last year. Weeze is solid. McCoy is one of the best centers when healthy. I think you'll be able to attack that left side of the offensive line because Dylan Radunes is coming over from Tennessee, not really known as a good tackle. If I could pull up his stats from last year, Radunes performed okay. So he did decent. It wasn't great run blocking, but decent pass blocking. In total, gave up 6 sacks and 5 penalties and 903 snaps. I think the Giants could definitely take advantage of that, especially with Dexter Lawrence in the middle and Darius Alexander, hopefully, starting to come to a point. And then left tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr., the rookie out of Texas. So I feel like the Giants will be able to attack either side really well. Abdul Carter or maybe a guy in Brian Burns, who recently just got his contract restructured today. And I know that they were one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year. They added Davon Goodshaw. In a trade with New England, they have Isaac Yiadom, who I believe was with another team last year. I think he was with the Niners. But he's back. He's back as New Orleans Saint. Justin Reed, former Kansas City Chiefs safety. You still got Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, I will say this, right? I don't know. I don't expect the Giants to be this all-out great passing team. I would try to challenge Kool-Aid McKinstry, though, because he's going to be getting more reps with Adebo gone and with his other former teammate, Marshawn Lattimore, gone. So you'll have a secondary to attack. Now, I don't know how good they're going to be or what's going to hold up for them. I think this is going to be an interesting defense. This is going to be interesting defense. Brandon Staley is the defensive coordinator. I feel like, and I'm not trying to promote Dennis Allen, but I feel like Dennis Allen held them to a punch a little bit. And he did some nice things with them. It's just the offense was just complete dog shit. So you may see a little bit of a regression. And obviously, Cam Jordan is getting older and, all these other different things going on. But anyway, Giants are going to win that game, in my opinion, based on the schedule. Now, what I am going to automatically do is I'm going to have to put the Giants losing to the Eagles already twice. I think the Giants are put it in a bad position. Now, if they're at home, not on prime time, not on Thursday Night Football, maybe, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I have this PTSD of Daniel Jones era. Maybe I do. And you know what? I'll say this, right? I think the Eagles game, had it not been on primetime, and maybe, again, he could, squeeze it out on primetime. I think if Russell Wilson's really fighting for his job at this point, Not because of he's playing bad or good, but also because of the record. If that's the case, right, and he's still fighting for his job, maybe he pulls out an Eagles win. So it's I don't think it's uncommon to say that. I don't think it's too sacrilege. I just don't see the Giants winning against the Eagles this year. I think next year you do have to start winning divisional games again on the regular. Nimmer, I'm not surprised that they have Reggie Miller calling. I mean, he's the guy on TNT. And the Knicks, excuse me. I have to talk about all these different teams here. The Knicks have to just deal with it and deal with his commentary until they can actually beat the Indiana Pacers. Now, this team is sort of interesting. The Giants are coming off of a little bit of an extended bye, which is not actually a bye week. It's a mini bye. I don't see them. Now, this could be a game, and I'm going to say this a lot, right? If Brian Daboll is as good of a coach, and we think he kind of is, right? He doesn't have to be this Sean Payton-esque, but if he's a solid coach, the Giants are going to be in a lot of these games this year, and this schedule might flip. I'm not saying the Giants are going to win 11 games. What I'm saying, though, is they may lose a game against the Saints. I hope not. But they may lose a game against Dallas, but they might pick one up against Denver, right? Denver is a team, in my opinion, that has potential, but I think they skid by a lot of games last year. Bo Nix in his second year, what is he going to look like? And remember, they have a couple of departing coaches. Nonetheless, they keep Sean Payton. They keep Davis Webb as the quarterback's coach, et cetera, et cetera. They have Evan Ingram, Dre Greenlaw, and Talanoa Hufanga. Those are some good defensive additions. I know both of them are coming off serious injuries, but from the 49ers, I love that for them. They signed a couple of other players too, a couple of role players, whatnot. They drafted Jahdae Barron in the first round to add to that secondary, which is Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain. I love the running back they drafted in RJ Harvey, little push guy out of UCF. Savion Jones is a great run defender out of LSU. So that's where that goes. I have the Giants, again, based on coming into this year, I do have them losing. The Giants, the last time they were in Denver, they did win, which was 2017 against Trevor Siemian out of all guys. That was a while ago. That was interesting. But I think this is a Sean Payton coach team, is a better coach team. You do see these games, though, and I'm going to advertise this, and they've gotten better with talent, of course. You do see these games, though, where they will drop. They shouldn't have lost this game. Like, I remember against the Jets in 2023 when they had Nathaniel Hackett. That's a game Denver should have won. They had too many stupid mistakes. The Jets had a lot of stupid mistakes, and the Jets ended up capitalizing more. And they skid by it because Zach Wilson was the quarterback. So, 2024, they were, 10-7? Yeah, I mean, they lost their first two. They won against Tampa Bay. Bo Nix, yeah, he was pretty crucial. Pretty crucial. I think he was a Pro Bowler, too, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, I don't think he's a high-volume passer like everyone thinks he is. What improvements? How about make free throws? How about the Knicks make free throws? How about that? So, I think the Giants end up taking one of these two games against Western teams. I think it is brutal. You do have 6-8 against the Eagles, whether it's away, home, or home or away. You know what? I'm feeling weird. The Giants are going to win against the Broncos. I have that feeling. I'm sorry. I have that feeling. I think the Giants are going to take that victory against the Broncos. And also think of it this way. Russell Wilson is going back to a team he once played for. He had not great years there. He wants to get back at Sean Payton. And that was also his last good statistical season. Last year wasn't great with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, coming into a point now is, do the Giants beat the San Francisco 49ers? Now, Brad, wherever you are, if I say they win, he's going to absolutely belittle me and joke with me. Obviously, it's all for fun. I don't have the Giants winning this game. I don't. I think it is going to be a close game. I think Brock Purdy, obviously, coming in, he's got these big expectations because of an extension in the 49ers. They're known as that team. Oh, they're getting rid of this guy. They're getting rid of that guy. Brandon Ayuk is their only receiver as of right now. Demarcus Robinson is a good addition. And Ricky Pearsall's got to thrive back. Obviously, he was shot in the leg last year. Trent Williams has to stay healthy. Ben Barch is decent. Brendel is decent. Puny is decent. And McKivitz is decent. Like, they're decent guys. Trent Williams really lifts up that offensive line. And I would like to think that if they throw in Andre Dillard as a guy who is going to be a swing, they throw him in because Williams is hurt. I feel like that affects a lot of what happens. Now, the Giants also have to be very good against the run because Christian McCaffrey, and at this point, you should expect the Giants defense in the running game to at least be solid. We're in week 9. I mean, there are a couple of high volume teams that you do play. You play the Eagles twice. You play the Chargers, who, they have Amari and Hampton, so you do expect them to run the ball quite a lot. And Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. So you do have some high volume running football teams. And at this point, you should expect the Giants to at least have a solid run defense. You should. Because Darius Alexander, Abdul Carter will be 9 games in. You kind of have to expect it. I don't have the Giants winning this game, though. I am sorry. San Francisco takes this one. I will say, as part of, we could talk about all these different things. Oh, well, they got rid of this guy, they got rid of that guy, whatever. Mykel Williams is a good run defender. He can play in and out. Alfred Collins was a steal in the second round. And they've also drafted a number of different players to be role players and stuff like that. On the defensive side, they got Trey Brown from Seattle, and they're looking for a couple of guys to step up. Jason Pinnock or Malik Mustafa will be the starting free safety, and also Richie Grant, who they signed from Atlanta. So there's going to be a couple moving pieces on that defense. There is no doubt in that, but I will give them credit. Give credit, that's a key word. Robert Saleh is back as the defensive coordinator, and he is a terrific leader as a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. As a defensive coordinator, he is a terrific leader. He got those guys rallied up. The system was beneficial, and that's that. So the Giants, unfortunately, going to lose this game. And at this point, they would have no home wins. Now, I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think one of these they'll crack out. Like, I could see the Chargers actually going their way. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't know about that. Justin Herbert, I don't know. Let me look that up, right? Let's go Los Angeles Chargers. I know Drew Brees used to get that all the time. Oh, he doesn't win it. He's not in a dome, so he's not going to win. So many away games they won last year. So Vegas, they did win in Carolina, but trust me, anyone in the chat and us could have beaten Carolina. They did win in Denver. Give them credit. Win in New Orleans. Back home against New Orleans. They did win in Cleveland. Cleveland's a dog shit team, though. Lost against Baltimore. Lost in Kansas City. They lost in Tampa Bay. Ooh. This is making things dicey for me. Oy. They did win in New England. They did win in Vegas. Ooh, okay. Okay. I have my switching. I told you guys I might switch my verdict on this game. What's up to Carlos in the chat? What's going on, man? Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, vote on the poll. Let's get to 10 likes. Because the Giants losing 4 in a row would absolutely stink. I'm going to come back to it. This next game against the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears. They've done a lot in their trenches, especially the offensive line, to be specific. They drafted Ozzie Trapilo to be the future left tackle. They traded for Joe Thuney and signed him to an extension. They traded for Jonah Jackson, and they signed Drew Dalman from the Atlanta Falcons. They also drafted Luther Burden as one of their starting wide receivers, along with Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. Obviously, Keenan Allen remains a free agent. And then They have Grady Jarrett and they signed Deo Odenigbo to be in their defensive line room. Now, if you look at the defensive side of the football for the Chicago Bears last season, it's a completely different story because, yeah, you do have not Matt Eberflus anymore, but you do have a couple of different changes there. Now the defensive coordinator, if I could get his freaking name, Ben Johnson. Oh, it's Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen's the defensive coordinator. What am I doing? OC is Declan Doyle. Dennis Allen's the defensive coordinator. I think, and Dennis Allen kind of has that same aura about him that I do about Saleh. Is like he's a good defensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach, right? So this game could go either way. I think they take one of these games. They're definitely not winning Detroit, so I'm going to put that down as a loss. They take one of these games right here, right? It's either against Green Bay or it's against Chicago. And I think what I'm going to do is, and you know what? We have to analyze something, folks. We have to analyze something because it's going to happen. I think the Giants, after the bye week, they switch to Jackson Dart, or they do it before. So let's see. If I were to ideologically, this is just me going off here. The Giants at the bye would be 5-8, which means you're not really in playoff mode. You're 5-8. Obviously, I would have to see where everybody else stacks up. So maybe that could be the scenario. Russell Wilson gets his last hurrah on Monday night with a win, and then they go to Jackson Dart after the bye week. So I think that could happen. But I don't think it's possible that the Giants would be that bad at home. So I would have to actually maneuver one of these wins. I'm going to go with the Chargers win here. I'd say the Giants win 2 in a row. Let's see at this point. Loss. Yeah, they'd be 3-3, 4-3. So they would actually fall down a little bit. Because I'm not trying to make them lose how many games in a row. How about that? All right. We're gonna make them lose 3 in a row. Not that I would want it, but they're gonna lose against New England on Monday night, against Mike Vrabel. Probably a close game. The Giants lose by a field goal. I think New England is significantly upgraded this year, and I think if you're a New England fan, and we'll definitely be speaking to some New England people throughout the season. Paul Vizella was great when he came on for the draft show. But I think it's a team that they obviously spent a lot of money in free agency. In terms of the draft, I thought they did a decent job. Will Campbell is a home run of a pick. In terms of that, I would say their motive and their prerogative, if you will, is to get better throughout the season. Kind of like that, okay, well, we're going to have a rough start, but we're going to get better. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. And then the next year, you just hit it, right? So I think that's the goal for New England this year. Have about between 7 to 9 wins. And I think that's what the Giants are going to do here. They're going to lose 3 in a row. And that's going to prompt the Jackson Dart era to start in New York. Right? Detroit, I don't have to explain to you why the Giants would lose that game. So, again, up to this point, the Giants lose against Washington. They win against the Dallas Cowboys. They lose against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. They come back the next week, 1 o'clock game. Now, the Chargers, I want to see who they play leading up to the game. They play Denver at home. So they are coming over from the West Coast either way. So they have 2 in a row. They beat the Saints. They lose at home Thursday Night Football. They beat the Broncos, though that could be a loss if you think about it. That could be the 3 in a row. Well, actually, no, that'd be, if we did this, right, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the Giants winning this game in Denver. And the Russell Wilson revenge game. So you got that, and I could always revise these predictions once we finish out. So we got that Eagles loss there, 49ers loss, Giants win. After the bye, it's going to be interesting. Now, I do think the Giants play decent, but they lose coming off an extended bye to Dallas. This will put you at 5-9, but of course, you have to go in order. I think the Giants do come off that mini bye and they squeak. See that, guys? See that right there? They're going to squeak. Mini win right there out of the depths. And guess what? They're going to win against the Washington Commanders. Now, this is where it gets tough. I do think they lose to the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a superiorly talented team. And this is tough, right? Saturday, December 27th. It's not at 4 a.m. But let's look at the schedule, right? The Giants' schedule that's not here because sometimes it could screw up. I think they mean 4 o'clock p.m. So we moved to 4. Let's see. They don't have a time yet. It's a flex game, so they could flex it to Saturday. They could flex it to Sunday. They could do what the hell they want with that game. I'm going to say, do I say that the Giants win 6 games? Or did I say win 7 games? Let's look at this Raiders team. That'll be my decision. We're going to look at the Raiders team, right? So, Raiders got Pete Carroll in the building. They have Chip Kelly, and they have Patrick Graham. They have Geno Smith, a quarterback who they traded with for in Seattle. They have Jack Bech, who's a nice pickup in the second round. They drafted Ashton Jeanty, who is one of the best, if not the best player in the NFL draft. They picked up some guys in the trenches to be backups or future starters. So it could be Jordan Meredith or Caleb Rogers at that left guard position with Jackson Powers Johnson, Dylan Parham, DJ Delmar Glaze at the right tackle, and Colton Miller at left tackle. Now, defensively, they did make some adjustments, right? Defensively, their defensive coordinator is going to be Patrick Graham. He's come back for another regime. Darnay Holmes was re-signed, so he's going to be that nickel corner. You have Darian Porter, who's coming in. It's more of a man corner, so it might be shifting what they want to do, but Holmes is better as a zone. Jacorian Bennett, and then Eric Stokes from Green Bay on the other side. They signed Jeremy Chin. They signed Devin White and Landon Roberts. They have Christian Wilkins up the middle, Max Crosby, Adam Butler, Malcolm Kuntz, and Tyree Wilson. So that's really what heads their defensive line right now. See, it'd be tough because the Giants, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? They would have they'd be 2-6 to finish the season. And only 3 of those losses you could blame on Jackson Dart, ideally. So, but I don't think that the Giants would be in a rush to fire Brian Daboll. I think if you're competitive in these games, you're not getting blown out, I could understand it. So I think what the Giants are going to do, fortunately, I think the Giants are going to lose that game. 6-11. I predicted them to go 6-11 last year. So this is what I've done this year, right? Away, they're 4-5. At home, they're 2-6. And they lose against Washington. They win against Dallas. They lose against the Chiefs. They win against the Chargers. They win against the Saints, so they go to 3-2. They go to 3-3 with a loss on Thursday night. They win against the Broncos. They go 4-3. 4-4, lost to the Eagles. 4-5, lost to the 49ers. 5-5, win against the Bears. Week 11, that makes them go 5-6, 5-7, 5-8 to the bye week. And then you blame that on Russell Wilson. You don't really blame it on Russell Wilson. You're just saying, we're going to go shift to that rookie quarterback named Jackson Dart. And then you bring him in, you win first game, kind of like the Daniel Jones era, the start of it. Not that you want to have Daniel Jones memories again. But you lose against Minnesota at home. Then you go out there, you play the Raiders in a dome. I think that game could potentially be a shootout, but I feel like it could also be a tough grinder. And then Dallas takes the last game at home, though I could potentially see the Giants doing a swap. How about let's see what a swap looks like. Does it look better? right? You're still 6-11, but if you win the last game of the year, it could turn a few ways, right? So let's see. To start the year, you would be 4-5-8, 4-9. That's not a good look either. So that'd be 1 win, 2 win, 3 win, 4 win. Yeah, you'd be 4-9 to start the year. I mean, that's like 5-8. So, all right, I'm gonna have to. I think that's where I'm gonna put a pin in it. I think that's where it's crazy. I have not gone this outlandish with my predictions before, but when you want to spice things up and you want to actually start getting things correct here, I think it's a valuable resource to start thinking outside the box rather than the Broncos are a better talented team, so they're going to win. No, you got to start thinking outside the box here. So once again, Giants lose against Washington, they lose against Dallas, lose against Kansas City. They win against the Chargers. They win against the Saints. Lose on Thursday Night Football. They win against the Broncos. They lose against Philly. They lose against the one and only San Francisco 49ers. They win against Chicago. They lose against Green Bay, though I could see this potentially being a win. Then they lose against the Lions. Then they lose against the Pats. Turn it over to the rookie quarterback. Their first game with Dart and their last game with Dart to end the season. It's a victory in the division. And then you have Week 16, Minnesota Vikings loss and Las Vegas Raiders loss, and all that sort of good stuff. So, didn't mean for this live stream to go too long. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or drops. Still looking to do more content as we go. I know that we are looking to do a prediction stream at some point, right? So that's going to be on the hook. I'll keep you guys updated with in terms of that. And also as well, we're going to be doing the Yankees-Dodgers Sunday Night Baseball matchup. I believe it's like June 1st. That's at least our next planned Yankee stream. Yeah, that's June 1st. So June 1st, 7 p.m. That's our next scheduled live stream, which is Yankees and Dodgers. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Peace out. See you later. Stay cool.